What is up, Sports Key to YouTube and KliqpodGaming Nation? As always, thank you for joining me, your boy JG. And tonight, we're here for the Tuesday night Smackdown. Well, what did we learn? But with that being said, man, as far as the show, I gotta say, it was much improved from Raw. I actually thought tonight's Smackdown show was pretty good, pretty interesting, and it definitely passed the test, at least for tonight, man. And they did a good job, and I mean a good job, building up their Survivor Series. But before we hop into what did we learn, don't forget to join me tomorrow for This Week in WWE Wrestling. Man, we're going to catch up, go into detail, break down matches, what we liked, what we didn't like, and really go deep and dive into it, because I know there's a lot of you out there that missed the longer review. So guess what? We're bringing them back, and we're going to talk about both at once. But with that being said, guys, let's hop into what we learned tonight on last night's Tuesday Night Smackdown. So the first thing we learned on tonight's show, man, is Shane knows he's not the best in the world. And he actually proclaims that he won it for SmackDown. And with that being said, man, I like them starting the show off with that. I know it was such a huge debate topic about Shane winning the World Cup. I like that he admits that he's not the best in the world. He knows he's far from it. And he decides that the reason he did it, he wanted to bring SmackDown home the title. And this actually kicks off our evening. And after this, Shane decides he's going to name his captain for Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. And that captain is none other than Daniel Bryan. And with this being said, Daniel Bryan comes down to the ring, thanks him for having this opportunity. But lo and behold, The Miz interrupts this segment, man. The Miz comes down, gives his 2 cents, and complains to Shane that he wants to be captain. And guess what? We find out our Survivor Series captains for Team SmackDown are going to be The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Can these two coexist? That's the huge question. We're a little bit away. We got a lot of time. As far as for the most part tonight, they did. But we'll talk about that a little later. Next thing we learned on tonight's Tuesday Night Smackdown review is the Usos are the captains of Team SmackDown for Survivor Series tag elimination match. And their number 1 picks were the New Day. So tonight we got a tag team matchup: the New Day versus the Usos. The winner is the captains for the tag team elimination Survivor Series match. In an outstanding match, but something we've seen many a times before. We see the Usos victorious, and right after the match, they grab the mic. It's time for a real moment. We see the Usos giving the utmost respect to the New Day. And let's all be honest, the tag team division for the SmackDown pretty much has been the Usos and the New Day. So the Usos recognize this, let the New Day know that they want them to be their first pick. And with that being said, the New Day accept. So already SmackDown is off to an absolute bang with their selections. Then we learn that The Miz and Daniel Bryan were trying to play nice tonight, and that's the craziest thing ever. So in a few backstage segments, we get The Miz and Daniel Bryan. And the first one starts off with them actually agreeing on something. Miz decides, in my mind, as a joke, that he's going to kiss some butt to Shane and pick Shane as the first pick for Team SmackDown, outside of the 2 captains. Daniel Bryan, lo and behold, agrees. He said, if there's anybody who has the most on the line, it's Shane McMahon. So what better opportunity? And then the match in the World Cup, that was enough proof for Daniel and Bryan to pick Shane and make them the number 1 pick for Team SmackDown. Then we get a couple other backstage segments in the evening. And once again, it's The Miz and Daniel Bryan actually trying to coexist so this thing works and plays out perfectly for SmackDown. They say, instead of them just handpicking who the team's going to be, Daniel's going to pick one, The Miz is going to pick one, and they're going to face off in a match against each other. And that sets up Rey Mysterio, Miz's pick, Daniel Bryan's pick, versus Cien Almas, who is The Miz's pick. Phenomenal pick, if you ask me. But then you get The Miz picking Joe, and Daniel picking Jeff Hardy, and that makes our main event of the evening. So we have Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio. Then later in the main event, we have Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy. The winner of both matches are the last two members for Team Smackdown as we move closer to Survivor Series. Then we learn that Paige handpicked her women's Survivor Series team. And with that, Paige announces Mella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka. So right there, you got 4 phenomenal women. Your team is looking stout. Then she finishes off by announcing Charlotte Flair. But Mandy Rose had different ideas, and we don't ever see an appearance from Charlotte Flair. Instead, we see Mandy Rose coming out talking crap and then getting her ass beat for it. But with that being said, with Mandy Rose taking this step, would that have shown Paige enough that maybe she's the piece that's missing to this team, and it's not Charlotte Flair? Also, is this going to set up a match within the near future between Mandy Rose and Charlotte Flair for the final spot on the SmackDown Women's Tag Team or SmackDown Women's Survivor Series match? We'll have to wait and see, but I definitely like Mandy Rose's approach to this tonight. Not waiting on her opportunities, but trying to grab them out from everybody. And this brings us to the last two things that we learned on tonight's Tuesday Night SmackDown. And for me, these are both the most important. The first one is we learned Becky Lynch is the man. Holy cow. So we get a backstage segment with Becky Lynch wearing baddest bitches or world's baddest bitch shirt. She tears it. Underneath, she has an I'm the man shirt. Comes down to the ring. Tells Ronda pretty much, Ronda, I don't give a shit what you think of me. That's not what I'm going to Survivor Series for. I don't care about your respect. What I want is your arm. Not only that, she lets the world know that, yeah, Ronda might be the world's baddest bitch. But Becky's intent is to make her Becky's bitch. You didn't hear it here first? Becky pretty much said this without finishing it off. Thought this was absolutely impressive, man. The more and more Becky stays on this microphone as Stone Cold Becky Lynch, she is just absolutely amazing, man. I can't get enough. I won't lie. I am not hyped on the Ronda side at all, but Becky has me steaming, and damn, would it be amazing if Becky was to pull this off, man. It would just solidify her as the best women's wrestler in the game today, bar none. No ifs, ands, or buts. And this brings us to what might be the most shocking, but at the same time, the most exciting and funnest thing we learned about Tuesday Night SmackDown. And that is Nikki Cross has been called up to the main rosters. So, after Becky Lynch finishes her promo, she says the champ's ready to fight. And that's what I love about Becky. Fighting champion, man, whether the belt's on the line or not. She just wants to kick some ass. Who does that remind you of? But with that being said, man, we see Sanity come out. And at first, you're wondering, and in the back of my head, I'm thinking, maybe Nikki is coming out with him, but you don't see it. And then out of nowhere, from the back, we see Nikki Cross come out, challenge Becky Lynch, just keeps repeating to her, play with me, Becky, play with me, Becky, play, Becky, play. So Becky Lynch accepts this like the champion she is, and in a phenomenal match, Nikki Cross shows the main roster they all better be ready, but she's not enough for the champ, the true champion, as Becky finishes her with the disarmer, proving to Ronda, you better watch out because she's coming for that arm. But with that being said, guys, thanks for stopping by, checking out the video. Not only that, do not forget to catch tomorrow's video what we learned this week in what we learned this week in WWE wrestling, as well as Thursday or Friday, there will be a Royal Rumble video up. I'm not going to tell you the title or anything like that. You just got to keep an eye out for it. But I promise you, it'll be fun. You'll definitely enjoy. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here because it's about that time. But as always, before I go, please take names, kick ass, and peace.